but it's the perfect time to strike. The A-10s coming in, hitting 1, hitting 2, hitting 3 TATBVs, 4 TATBVs. Second A-10 coming in there. Absolute carnage. It's that time again. This is one of the best 10v10s I've ever played. Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10 on rocks, and I'm going to be playing with the 8th US Infantry Division. I just want to say that this video is not sponsored. I made a video like this quite a while back for Steel Division 2 and I really wish I had sooner. So with the recent release of WARNO 1.0 and also this particular game being one of the best I've played, it was super fun. I'm back to give more insight to potential, new and veteran players. So with all that said, grab your favourite snack and beverage, sit back, relax and enjoy as I take you through this absolutely incredible replay of this awesome game. F-15 Eagle engaging 2 MiGs at the start. Unfortunately, the MiG-29's going to be getting the better of this Eagle as it crashes and burns, and the MiG-29's flying off overhead. Look how awesome that looks in the distance there. Very cool indeed. Mi-24's inbound across the front here, supported by an Akula and Mi-8 TVs, which are also coming in with their own rockets. Big helicopter air assault at the start. Mirage F1C coming in, doing some damage to the Mi-24K. My Eyehawks engaging from back here. These were towed in and are firing away as the reinforcements head to the front. We're doing lots and lots of damage to these initial helicopters, and my PVAD's coming in there to clean up with its Vulcan Gatling cannon. Doing a great job. Unfortunately, on the left here, I believe Parks lost most of his forward deployment due to the sheer amount of helicopters that came our way. But next up we have the Grad Strike, and my Eyehawks being towed through the middle of this Grad Strike, unfortunately, as I was trying to redeploy them after they fired. Unfortunately too late, as the Grad Strike does come in and deals so much damage to all of our forces on this road, and you can just see the destruction left behind by this awesome M&RS. So many trucks destroyed, the Chaparral there burning, all the M35s burning, some buildings being blown up along the way. Thankfully the majority of my mechanized rifles survived, but all of my support other than my PVADs is gone. So a very, very rough start for me in this game. Now after that explosive start to this one, I am going to take the opportunity to talk about some resources that are available for new and experienced players. The first one being War Yes. War Yes is a community and also a website. The War Yes community is very welcoming to new players, so I'll make sure to leave a link to the Discord in the description, and if you are very new to the game, definitely go there, check it out, and ask some questions about the game if you have any. You can also leave any questions you have about the game in the comments, and I'm sure any experienced players will help answer those, and I'll take a look as well, of course. The War Yes website, really, really awesome. Again, I'll leave a link to it in the description. What you can do with that is create decks on their website and use them to basically make decks while you're not at your computer. I think you can even make them on your phone. And then when you get back to your computer, if you have an account on their website, you can just go back to that deck, get the code, and just put it straight into the game. So the deck like that I showed at the beginning, you could just get a deck like that and just import it straight into the game so that you have it ready to go for your next 10v10 or team game or whatever you want to do. Really, really cool. So definitely a fantastic tool. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the Simulated Divisions League. Fantastic community that has supported the competitive scene of Steel Division 2 for a very long time, and same with WARNO. They have the WARNO League, they have the Steel Division League, both of which are open to both new and experienced players. They have like rookie leagues and tournaments for newer players, and they also of course have like the main league, like Division 1 for like super experienced players, where there is prizes for you to win, usually like monetary prizes. So really cool that there is a big sort of community effort behind the scenes to play competitive tournaments. Really nice. So Simulated Division League, I will leave a link to their Discord in the description. Finally, the last thing I wanted to mention was the Eugen official Discord. It is a great place to find other people who like the game, and also it's a good place for reporting people if you ever have any trouble. So if there's any like people being like racist in the chat, or you know, their team killing or whatever, that's your place to go to report those sorts of people. So definitely go there and do that if you find any people giving you issues in the game, as the moderator team will pass that over to the devs and they will get banned very rapidly. So don't be a bad boy in WARNO, you will get banned. They have very much improved on their moderation since Wargame, so no funny business in WARNO, which is great. And another reason that you should be playing this game, because the devs are 100% on board with making sure that it is the best experience for the players. But yeah, another MNRS strike coming in there. You can see the craters only becoming more and more as all these poor civilian cars are having their windows smashed out and these trucks being left in the dust. Absolutely awesome stuff. My rifle's really having a bad time, so what you can see that I've done is actually shift over my M1 Abrams to the other side of the river, because I wasn't convinced that we'd be able to continue pushing up here with all of the rocket artillery coming in, because we got attacked by rocket artillery from the left, we got attacked from rocket artillery on the right as well. So it's going to be difficult to push up in such a concentrated area. The nice thing about Rocks, however, is it's a huge map, and there are lots of different places that you can push. So you'll see that I'm actually going to be bringing in a convoy of M1A1 Abrams to this position right here on the hill. If you want to see the orders, you can select in the bottom right. There is an eye icon that turns on orders for your troops. There's also a, the arrow icon, not the eye icon. There's also shift. If you hold shift while selecting your own units, it will show you their commands, which is really handy. That's the way that I personally like to do it, because I don't like to have the orders always on. Another great tip, by the way, if you have multiple of the same units selected, you can press tab to scroll through them. This is probably one of the biggest tips that I have people ask me about. It's like, how are you giving orders to multiple different units in the same selection? Tab. Tab is your special key, so make sure to do that. If you have a smart group, it might not work. You can turn off smart groups by default in the options, and I would generally recommend doing so. That's when you select multiple units to come in at the same time, and it automatically makes a group. The way that I like to bring in troops is I select the troop in the top left, and then I hold shift and click multiple times on the map, so that they all come in individually and not as a group, which is much better to control in my opinion. So these two M1A1 Abrams that were on the right side of the river, I'm now sending them over to the right side to join the other three that I brought up fresh from the spawn. I'm also going to be bringing over another PVADS. We've got the Hemet to try and fix up one of these Abrams. Meanwhile, these mechanized rifles, they are going to be just trying to hold the line as long as possible against enemy vehicles and infantry heading in this direction. I've also got the M35 supply here, as you can see, that's going to be trying to resupply these squads and reinforce them. So we'll leave that to do its job, and my teammates can continue to contest this area and hopefully get a command in there later in the game. So my plan was to kind of shift over to the right-hand side, mainly due to the rocket artillery coming in. I thought, you know what, that's a waste of time. We might be able to get a command into the corner here, but every time it's just going to get rocket artillered, which is fine. If you have enough commands, you can waste all their supply by doing that. But in this case, I was trying to look for a way to get our team a solid advantage, because we're currently losing to this +2. The enemy team is counting up points very quickly, so we're going to want to do something about that. So I'm just trying to start to assemble my forces here as the battle rages on around us. In the distance there, another plane getting shot down, the smoke trails everywhere. I love zooming in WARNO. It's just such a beautiful game. This is the devastated area. That's I was showing you guys before. All these buildings getting knocked down now, even, especially with the rockets coming in from the Mi-24V there. So yeah, just lining up my troops over here, getting them all refueled and repaired. With the HEMET, we're going to get the M1 Abrams CP in with us as well. This is not necessarily to capture an enemy sector, it is to provide extra veterancy. So in this game, the way that you win is you capture these sectors, and each sector has a points value. So in this case, say Bravo is giving us +2 points per second. But it is cancelled out by Foxtrot, which is giving the enemy +2 points per second. So you can see at the top here the total amount. So 2 is contested, which is this sector and this sector. They own 6, we own 4, and therefore they get a +2, which is ticking up +2 on the scoreboard on the right hand side. If they reach 2,500 score, which is shown on the right there, then they win. So that's what we've got to try and avoid. If the game ends also before either team reaches the score limit, the one with the most wins. If it's, I believe, within 10%, then it's a draw. So that's what we're working around in order to consider whether or not we're going to win. And at the moment we're losing quite badly, since the enemy is almost 900 points ahead of us. So what I'm going to try and do with this Abrams is give myself leadership, but I can also use this to potentially capture this sector, since it is a leader, which is shown by the circle with the star in it on the left hand side of the name. So I've set up a order here for my Abrams to drive forwards. I've held basically right click and dragged so that they create a line. In this case though, we're just going to be giving tab orders so that I can engage this T-80BV, and if I can overwhelm it before our opponent smokes, then we get a free kill there, which is really, really nice. And my M1A1 Abrams, 270 points. I believe the T-80BV is quite an expensive tank as well, 265 points. So us taking down one of his tanks is going to leave us with a tank advantage in the center if I'm able to keep mine alive. MiG-27 coming over with the seed missile. That can target my PVADs, of course, and unfortunately it did go down, so that's a burning wreck. And my M1A1 Abrams did take a lot of damage, so we're going to be reversing that to get it fixed up. I'm also going to be making sure to move all my Abrams into the tree line here so they cannot be spotted, and when they're blinking like this, it means they are stealthed, so the enemy can't see them. There are cases whereby, even if your unit is stealth, it can be shot at if they have recon, but you'll see that the unit is obviously shooting at you at that point. So on the left hand side here, we have managed to decap this sector, which is good. It takes it down to only a +1 across the board, because they control Hotel whilst we don't control Echo. But regardless, I'm going to be focusing on this area, keep making probing attacks in the center of the map, since I'm focusing a lot into the M1A1 Abrams. And this is one of the reasons that I actually really like the 8th, and I wanted to show off this game with the 8th, is because they're quite a versatile unit. They have quite a decent amount of tanks, so I'm able to build up a nice tank force like this with some decent AA and decent recon. But I could also potentially be going for the infantry push, which I was looking to do initially, which is why I invested quite a lot into the mechanized rifles. But I'm not really going to be worrying about them anymore. We're going to be continuously focusing on this right-hand side, bringing up more LRS. A second squad is going to be on its way. And the LRS here will be providing the GSR trait if they are stationary. Now, this is one thing that's been carried over and improved from Steel Division 2, if you're familiar with that. Units have traits, and these help different units in WARNO be more unique. In this case, the LRS have a GSR trait, so when they are not moving, they get a +1 optics level. These guys are airborne, so they can forward deploy if they are deployed at the start of the game. They have the shock trait, which basically inflicts more suppression on enemies when fighting at close range. They have the Special Forces trait, which means they take less suppression themselves and deal more damage. And, of course, they are recon, which gives them the same sort of advantage as being airborne, really, but slightly shorter. In this case, we just want to get them into one of these tree lines so they can sit still and provide us with good recon. And all the while, we're going to want to try and find and take out their recon so they are blind. The BRM there being a good example of that, which does have exceptional optics. Unfortunately, my chaparral here on the right-hand side going to get caught out by the Conkers, and as I'm making a push here across the open, those Conkers are going to be starting to fire into my flanks, which makes me pull back from this engagement because the Conkers slot my M1 Abrams right through the side armor. Really sad times. But at least the chaparral is going to be able to take out the MI8 there. The Mi-24V did manage to land an HGM into this Abrams, but we'll just fall back with the HIMMET and get those fixed up. Yeah, losing the leader, really, really bad for me, to be honest. And pushing straight up the middle here, did mean that I was getting flank shots coming in from either side. We're going to get more recon in, that way that I can see where the Conkers are, and I'll be able to engage those first with potentially artillery or airstrikes in order to make my life a little easier, because I do have an MO-109 that I've brought in back here that's going to be able to provide fire onto those small squads before we engage, otherwise we'll be completely overwhelmed. The T-80BVs really, really scary in this situation because they do have the Cobra A-to-GM, which has 2,625 meter range. So Soviet tanks are very difficult to engage at range because you're always going to get hit by an A-to-GM before you're in gun range, unless you use smoke or you just manage to use the terrain to get close to them in time, or even just speed. The M1A1 Abrams off-road is reasonably fast, and it has a good stabilizer. So 60% accuracy on the move. And what that means is I can just charge at them, and all of my tanks are going to be relatively accurate. Now, in order to make sure that I don't get flanked again, I figured that destroying the Conkers with the artillery would take too long. I had a great suggestion from somebody in my chat because I was playing this live. If you do want to come along live and join in these games, you can do every Wednesday. I have WARNO Wednesday, which is at 8 PM GMT +1. It will be streamed live on both Twitch and YouTube. So come along if you want to get involved. But yeah, somebody in my chat suggested maybe I should be pushing from this direction, and it was a great idea. It really was. So I shift to the right here, and I figured I can kind of chew through all of these Conkers from this side whilst still having the T-80BVs in front of me, but not having the Conkers shooting into my side flank. So just moving all of the Abrams over towards the HIMMET to get that fixed up. Make sure I bring my chaparral with me. We'll keep the LRS in position over here because they're providing fantastic recon due to the GSR trait. You can see I'm trying to get another LRS into position there. I'm bringing one with me to make sure that I can keep eyes on enemy forces. This is also allowing Black Bear here to provide the last two rocket fire, and my M109s are also still firing away. You can see I've got two of them now as the second one has arrived on the field, and those are quite simply just focusing down any and all ATGMs we see, like the Conquer's squad specifically. Because they won't do as much damage against the tanks, so that's not so much a worry. I can try and overwhelm them with micro with the Abrams. So Leopard 2A3s also getting some shots on here onto the Conquers, which is great. Those are going to be smoking themselves off though, and rightly so. The Leopard 2A3 only has 16 front armor, so the ATGMs from the TATPVs are going to be doing a nice chunk of damage, whilst the M1A1s, they've got 18 front armor, so they're actually quite resilient to the enemy ATGMs. We're only going to be taking 1 damage. But I'm just taking this engagement at the moment to try and clean out that Conquers from the building. Another really cool thing about WARNO, you can see the side skirts have been blown off this M1A1, and there is like persistent damage, and that is shown on certain models. Really, really cool. Also, when certain units die, sometimes like their wings come off and stuff, which is really awesome. Like if you watch like an A10, sometimes when they get destroyed, they just like get cut in half, or like their wing comes off, or their engines are off, or some whatever it is. It's really cool. But tanks losing their side squirts is quite a common one, particularly if they're being smacked around by tanks like this. You saw the side skirt from the front get smashed off the side. Abrams gonna smoke itself though and fall back. Every time I smoke like this, I'm gonna obviously fall back, get myself repaired, get the smoke ready to go once again, because you do have to resupply the smoke. Every tank only has like 1 use of smoke, and then it has to go back and resupply that. Nice kill on the Igla though, as the LRS spotted those. You can also see that the LRS are on return fire. That sort of explosion icon with the cross through it, it means that they are on return fire. And the reason we're doing that is just to stop them automatically engaging enemy infantry if they get in range, and therefore revealing their position. So we're just stopping them from doing that. Anyway, a lot of my tanks getting damaged here. We managed to damage some of his units, so we're just going to be falling back to the supply and getting things fixed up. I've got another HEMET on the way to help us out. So tactically, things going pretty well on the right hand side, or I should say strategically, things going quite well on the right hand side. Inky's managed to get all the way up into this forest and has managed to full cap this sector with the help of Black Bear. So really, really good job by those guys on the right hand side. On the left, unfortunately, Endy's foray into the enemy backline was cut down, and Burdened is trying to hold back Magic Man on the far left flank. We are somewhat contesting this sector here, thanks to Grimguy and his Bradley, but we're still really, really far behind, and if we can't continue to contest the left hand side, the enemy will continue to control a +1, especially since they are continuing to put commands into this right sector as well. So we've still got a ways to go in this one if we want to win. But I'm going to continue to build up my M1A1s in the open, and we've got the M109s ready to help deal with any enemy ATGMs, and also provide smoke potentially. But MiG-27 going to get cut down as it comes in for the bombing strike, trying to clean up a AMX-30B. The AMX-30B actually manages to survive, and my M1 Abrams CP took a bit of damage in the process. We're just going to be backing that up. Again, the M1 Abrams CP here, going to be important because it provides extra veterancy to these tanks, and it also can capture this sector if we get in. So I've got to work out a way to get rid of this tank platoon of the Soviets. It's like just a bunch of tanks just sitting here, 7 TATBVs. I'm going to be hitting them with some artillery since they're stationary. Maybe I can take out the one that's damaged in the center, at least that's what I was hoping. I've got my Raven coming in. Sorry about the camera. My Raven coming in. Now there is E-War in this game, this Raven, it comes with this big blue circle, and what that big blue circle does is it reduces the effectiveness of enemy radar AA within that circle. So really nice. It has 60% ECM as well, so really difficult to shoot down, although we did unfortunately take a hit in this case. Wild Weasel, that's a Seed aircraft. We're looking to try and take out both the Kub and the Tunguska, which are both radar units, and that's with their Strike missile. In this case, a little bit unfortunate. My Wild Weasel was being pretty awful. Has a 50% chance to hit, and we missed 5 out of 5. Some classic Vulcan RNG right there. But I think I had the right idea. So I'm going to be bringing in another one. The one thing that I do have up my sleeve that can help with T-80s is A-10s. And in order to use A-10s, I need to clear radar AA. Or all AA, preferably, but the Seed aircraft can specifically help with radar AA. So they're going to be coming in again. Hopefully this time I'll be able to take out the Tunguska, the Kub, and any other AA that I find. So here comes the Wild Weasel. This time around, bang on target. Perfect. The Kub misses, thanks to our 40% ECM. So we're going to be coming back round for another go. I am a bit wary of the Su-27, but since it dived on the right hand side into all of that AA, that's going to get shot down. The Kub, likely out of ammo at this point, so not going to be showing up on the Wild Weasel's targets. But we did spot a unit further to the right, which could also potentially be a problem. So the Wild Weasel's going to hang out for the time being. But here's my chance. The A-10s are purchased, ready and waiting. And the idea that I had is that I'm going to push them forwards with all of the Abrams at the same time. Some nice combined arms warfare. Got the recon in position to spot the enemy forces when they come to face us. We got all of the Abrams lined up. We got the AA ready to go. I've got my artillery ready to go. Wild Weasel's going to push in to try and take out the Barusa, is what it turned out to be. Unfortunately missing, but coming back round for another go. Another quick tip that I get asked about quite a lot: if you do want to engage follow cam on a unit, just hover over it and scroll in with the middle mouse. Will we hit it this time? Probably not, because we're going to be flying overhead. But what I hit instead is the Tunguska with a lovely curving missile shot. And that was a very, very nice kill for us. Now the Weasel getting low on fuel, but able to land the last missile into the Barusa, and that can head home victorious. Fantastic stuff from McKee Boy here. Very nice. So, with all of that AA taken out, I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to get a good strike in with our A-10s if I time it right. So the plan is to get the M1A1s to move forwards, bait the enemy with all their T-80s to come and face us. Because here I only have 5 M1A1s, well 6, if you include this Abrams. They're just going to be charging forwards. I'm hoping they kind of take the bait here, so that my A-10s, which are flying in on the horizon over here in a wonderful formation, they are going to be able to help out destroy as many T-80s as possible. So the Abrams are charging ahead, the A-10s are getting ready to engage. I give orders to one of them to head in. The Raven's going to be heading overhead to provide the negative modifier to enemy radar AA. It also can spot enemy radar AA for the A-10s to potentially engage if there are any extra left over, since we don't have the seed out at the moment. Here's the wall of T-80s. There it is. They're engaging my Abrams. But it's the perfect time to strike. The A-10s coming in, hitting 1, hitting 2, hitting 3 TATBVs, 4 TATBVs. Second A10 coming in there. Absolute carnage as the A10s tear apart multiple BVs. The Abrams barely had to do a thing. We do unfortunately lose one A10, but a huge engagement as multiple of these vehicles are obliterated. That is over half of Blamer's TATBVs there, just taken out in one engagement. Huge stuff for us. We're able to take out that infantry on the right hand side to allow us to continue to push forward. So you can see it has given me the opportunity to move the M1 Abrams CP in the center, finally giving our team some score. So got the +1 F-16 flying overhead to help the Raven here. We got the Wild Weasel coming in, looking to find some kills. Do manage to take out another Cub. So just trying to continuously suppress enemy air defense. Now we're going to get pushed on by Picasso, and he's going to lose 3 TATs in the process. Turret flying off the last one. Good old Cash here at close range with his AMX-30s, doing a great job, in fact, helping us out on our right flank. And the difficulty that our opponents had was they weren't all attacking at the same time. So I managed to isolate our opponent in the middle, Blimer. Then Picasso comes in with his TATs on his own. And then Freedom Spreader's just a little bit too late. Catch going to be driving up at close range. Unfortunately, those AMX is not built for that kind of engagement and get popped very quickly. But the Leopard 2A3 finds a side shot, gets a free kill. Since my Abrams do get very damaged though, and I don't want to suffer a flank from Freedom Spreader, I have backed off. I might have been able to help these AMX-30s if I was closer, but because all of my M1s were so damaged, and I probably would have had to crested the ridge in order to engage those, it was incredibly risky for me to do that. So better that I keep my M1 alive, and he lost a couple of AMX-30B2s, which are only like 90 points each, so it's not a huge deal. Anyway, smoke's now going to be deployed so that I can get my M1 Abrams into the sector and continue to contest this. I'm also going to be looking for the kill onto the TATBVK. Grim Guys Bradley gets the TOW 2 on target and does manage to find the kill just before me, so great job there. TOW 2 really handy for hitting these TATs hard, because it does have 25 penetration, which gets through the front armor of these BVs very nicely indeed. Mi-24 though, gonna have an easy time there against the Bradley, as my chaparral's not able to get a shot on target. Gets the second one. My M1A1 auto smoking. I have had a question about this in the past. It's a good idea if you go into your rules of engagement in the settings and set it to defensive. It's under one of the gameplay options, I believe. But if you set it to defensive, what will happen is whenever your unit is either not able to engage the unit it's firing at, or is being fired at out of range of it being able to fight back, it will automatically smoke itself if it has smoke, and if not, it will just try and retreat. It's really handy, and I found since playing the game for almost 1,000 hours now, it's my preferred setting. I used to turn it off because I preferred to just micro smoke myself, and I found sometimes that vehicles are using up smoke and I wasn't realizing. But since I've played a lot more, I've noticed that it's helpful more times than not. So particularly if you're like not paying attention to a certain side of the map and then you get attacked, like your tank will just automatically smoke. So like in this case, for example, that TATBV, it couldn't see my M1A1 when it got hit, so it just automatically smoked. Same deal here. See, automatically smoked. And it's really handy for those sorts of situations. Beautiful side snipe there. M1 hit it first and the AMX-30 finished it off. Another nice kill. And we're going to continuously try and leverage our engagement here against these T-80BVs. Another nice hit there from the B2s. Now this is a Ka-50 Akula, I've got to be really careful against this bad boy. It's a 260 point helicopter. In this case with an 86% accurate Vikia 26 penetration ATGM. And you'll see that it smashes those Abrams in the front armor. Going to be trying to smoke off as quickly as possible. MiG-27s come in there, take out both these chaparrals. Cheeky strike from Vector to try and help out this flank. But my Abrams still sitting in position, and we can see that artillery falling in the backside has killed off the enemy leader. So we're going to be able to get a full cap here in this sector, pushing us to a +4, as this is a 2-point sector. Them losing that there 2 and us gaining the 2 makes us 4 points in ahead, well basically ahead throughout this game. Huge stuff. Also Inky providing the pressure on the right to keep these leaders out of position. So we're starting to really rapidly collect score, and that will help us catch up against the 1,878 points that our opponents have. Chaparral doing a great job shooting down the Mi-8 there, leaving it in the dust. Gatch trying to engage the T-80BVs, but the AMX-30s, they're going to have a hard time penetrating the frontal armor of the T-80BVs. They were doing so well before because they were getting side armor shots in. Inky coming across here, he's looking for the shot onto the T-80BVK. Would have been lovely if he'd engaged these T-80BVs up on the ridge, but does still manage to get 2 T-80s there. Looking for the third. Nicely done. Cleans house on their right hand side, allows the mechanized rifles of Dragons to take out the BRDM TU. Really well played. So nice kills. Yes, both the A10s went down, but he completed his objective of pushing those leaders out of there, that's for sure. My Abrams looking to finish off the T-80BV. Wild Weasel coming in again, manages to take out another of the Cubs, continuing to suppress that air defense. MiG-29, however, not going to allow my Wild Weasel to get away with it. Now coming in for the engagement onto my Raven, but my AA covering my Raven just enough to help shoot that down. Also the A10 I think helped out with its AIM-9. We're looking for the kills now onto these 2 T-80s. Figures with most of the enemy radar AA taken care of, I would be able to get the job done there, but the Strela 10M3 says no. Wing comes off the A10, goes down. No kills, unfortunately, that time around. So the engagement continues, and what a crazy game it's been so far. The one thing that I really liked about this game was how strategic it was. When I was playing this, it was like playing a puzzle game, where I was trying to figure out the best ways to push against the enemy throughout the game in order to get our team into an advantage. And it started obviously here, where I was like, oh, we'll contest this island. Then the amount of rocket artillery came in dissuaded me from continuing to funnel into this objective, so I moved further to the right and attack through the middle, then realized that I'm being flanked by HGMs, so I kind of cushion onto my allies, move in from this direction, break down the enemy HGMs, and get a really good airstrike onto the enemy forces. This time around, the T-80BV getting killed, but my A-10 going down for it. It is still technically a positive trade, because like a T-80BV is 265 points and an A-10 is 215 points, so even if you only kill one T-80BV, you are positive in terms of kills and losses. And we've already killed a bunch of T-80BVs before, so it wasn't so bad. Obviously losing them piecemeal like that though is not a good thing to do, and I probably shouldn't have committed when I'd seen the previous one get shot down. Regardless, M109 is going to continue to smoke off the M1 Abrams here in case they try and contest this. I want to just keep that in there. Stop them from decapping it entirely. And my Abrams are going to be making use of our allies' supply. So really good job by my teammates to bring over supply for my tanks and their own vehicles here. I did have a Hemmet that was sent back to the FOB, and you can see that they are going to be coming to the front line now to provide me with more supply as well. But the smoke continuously coming down there to cover off this Abrams means that it doesn't have to use its own. If the smoke ever falls and it comes under fire, it can use its own smoke to stay alive and potentially retreat. But more artillery coming in, this time onto enemy supply. That is from, again, Catch here. He was doing a really, really nice job. AMX Alf 1's going to be smashing that supply to pieces. I'm going to be losing Chaparral, unfortunately, to enemy rocket artillery. But here we go again. M1A1's pushing up hard. Cobra's on the right trying to take care of the Strela 10 M3. Not able to finish the job quickly enough, but are able to land in order to avoid being fired back upon. And the Abrams can move up there and finish that off. My Abrams move forward to take out the BMP-2. We're pushing on to the T-80BVs on the backside. I do love listening to these guys fire. It's just awesome, awesome engagements. Next T-80BV in sight. I do outnumber him quite substantially. Potential for side shots as well if it's facing the wrong direction. He manages to get smoke off in time. I managed to smoke just before the HGM hits me. The MD2 just missing its HGM as I reverse away from it. He's Abrams though. Oh. Having a bad time. Grim is going to be fire positioning that building. Finally opts to smoke instead though. Nice kill onto the T-80BV. So I've certainly had my force whittled down over time. You can see that I've only got like these 4 M1A1s left and the M1A1, oh sorry, just the M1 Abrams CP. But I do still have a decent amount of aircraft. We got the A-10 ready and waiting to come back in again. I did lose my seed aircraft eventually due to those air engagements. But the M109's still able to provide smoke for the M1 Abrams CP, and if I need to, I can just target on the backside there as well. More reinforcements have arrived. So now we have 6 M1A1 Abrams, and we've also got 2 Bradleys joining. Now Bradleys are really nice if they are used in combination with the Abrams, because you can keep the Bradleys just behind them, and you can engage enemy forces with the TOW2s out of range of the main guns, whilst the Abrams continue to apply pressure. Now, as you might have noticed, we haven't won yet. You know, it looks like we're at a significant advantage, but the opposing force is still on 1,878 score, and we're only up to 1,327, and they've managed to cancel it out, the +2 that we were having, thanks to the leader being in here. And they are going to move it back out as I continue to shift forwards and take out the Strela 10M. I was basically just trying to move forward that Abrams to take that shot so that the A-10 could come in and get some kills here. Just gonna smoke that off. I'm just trying to like keep this nearby enough that we can take out anything that's like a threat. So Abrams, unfortunately, going to get caught out by the KF-50 Akula. Don't manage to smoke that one in time. If you smoke really late, the HGM's still going to go through the smoke and hit you. So do bear that in mind. The T-80s on the flank, potentially a problem here, particularly with those Cobra HGMs. My reinforcements are wheeling up, but the A-10's got some good potential here, as it's away from the AA that's on the left. So, time for Gold Wire to shine. Takes out one more at least. and manages to dodge a lot of missiles on the way out. What a lucky boy. The 15% ECM there paying off nicely. Okay, that's still a problem. I'm gonna need something to shoot that down, or some AA to come up and help defend. Rocket artillery coming in hot. And with this Abrams already damaged, it's kind of scary for me. Especially since it's now routing. When a unit's routing, you can't use its smoke. So do be careful of that. Might get changed in the future. I'd like to see it if a unit routes, that it automatically pops its smoke. I think that would be much better than it just randomly routing in a random direction. I guess in theory you could say that it's just like the tank crew panicking and therefore just like driving into any random direction. But alas, we're going to be able to get those back on their feet. You can see the amount of supply that's been brought in by our teammate. Once again, I've got the Hemmets in position to provide us with extra repairs and ammunition, and we're waiting to go once again for another round. So M3 A1 Bradley does manage to get a TOW 2 on target of the T-80BV, but unfortunately gets hit itself, so wasn't able to secure a kill. But with only 14 minutes left on the clock, I wasn't sure a +1 would be enough. So we're going to continue to apply pressure. I'm sending an Abrams over to the right to engage these BVs. We've got the ones shifting towards the left to engage Moita. This M1 Abrams is going to provide veterancy for this one, so it's going to increase its rate of fire. Unfortunately, Su-17 there, flying overhead. KH-29 straight into the Abrams CP. Unfortunate, because it's going to leave this uncapped, and that was a pretty big mistake on my part. I shouldn't have sacrificed the leader that was contesting the cap. You know, I was keeping it smoked for so long, and that was just a waste. Big mistake on my part. Abrams now continuing to engage the T-80s on the left. Just a really, really awesome open range engagement throughout the majority of this game. And you can see all of the wrecks that were left over. Both Abrams and T-80s on both sides. And the vehicles, armoured vehicles everywhere. MTLBs, M113s. The scale of this game is just unmatched. It really is. And, you know, I'm focusing on that little section of the map whilst people are engaging each other all over the place on this one. Rocks is going to be like one of my favourite maps as well, just because of the variance of terrain and the kind of battles that it produces are just really, really fun. Anyway, nice kill there onto the BRM, which is an exceptional optics unit. Su-17 coming in with the KH-29 straight into the front armour of my M1A1. Fortunately, the M1A1 is going to be surviving, but my PVADs did not. So that's a bit scary for me, because we are definitely getting low on AA, and I don't want to commit F-16s to engage these helicopters, because we still know that there's plenty of infrared AA nearby, and I don't have any Wild Weasels left to kill any extra radar AA that's come up. So we're getting to a point where just a pure charge on the ground is going to be needed, and a reliance on teammates AA. So a couple of rolling twos on the right, there's a couple of stingers further forwards, PVADs there, so that's okay. Might allow us to make a move shortly. Imagine being this guy in the Jeep who's got a man that conquers. Oh, that's not a nice place to be. Maybe a little bit better to be in a BRDM, pushing forwards. You've got all the BMDs moving forwards as well. He's firing their conkers and unloading their troops as they push forwards. This Abrams in for a bad time as the swarm comes in. See my Raven here hanging out overhead. Just thought I'd bring this in to help any enemy, or sorry, any allied air attacks. If I just keep that flying around, I can bait shots from radar that's unlikely to hit. That should help us out a lot. Another mistake here. Letting my Ranger leader get smashed to pieces by HGMs on the road. I did at least manage to get this one in the corner, so that's good. And we're able to continue the cap in the center. I'm also shifting over these Abrams to the left-hand side. Grimguy's going to be doing the same, as we want to try and get rid of these T-80BVs on the flank, and we can also potentially kill the Strela 10Ms here, which would allow for more airstrikes in the future. So I've kept a bunch of Abrams on the right. I've got a normal M1 Abrams joining the fray now, since I was getting low on M1A1s. I did opt to back off here, because I didn't want to sit on top of Grimguy's tanks and them call in like a big artillery strike. Beautiful cluster on the backside there though. I believe my artillery was also coming in, trying to focus down the enemy commander. But here goes nothing. With the T-80s on the left hand side backing up, I'm going to swing in from all directions with my Abrams and try and kill as many of these low health tanks as possible. These two T-80BVs on the left side here got very low, and now is our chance to run them down. We're going to try and make good use of our stabilizers to push on them hard and fast. I can also try and take out the T-80BVK on the backside here that is trying to counter cap. So that's now routing. Forced to smoke off this Abrams. Grimguys takes out the T-80BV on the left. We take out the BVK on the back. Just managed to move forwards far enough to avoid the bombing strike on the HE there. And since his Abrams routing, not going to pop his smoke, gets taken out by the T-80BVs. Abrams now smoking, just microing backwards and forwards against multiple players on this front. IMAG's also bringing up his own T-80s now. Huge bombing strike comes in from the F-111Fs on the backside, trying to take care of the Motostrauki leader that was there. Chaparral looking to take out the T-8M. MiG-27 hits a nice strike onto my M1 Abrams, but our artillery has managed to hit the mark here. Good job by Grimguy, taking out that leader. A10 Vinky coming in now, trying to get some shots on, but here we go once again. Time to take advantage of all the kills we just got. The second wave coming through. Black Bear moving forwards initially with his 1A1s, but the swarm of HGMs from the BMP2s making it difficult to continue that. Look at this. Moved over the M1 Abrams to provide smoke onto the routed M1 Abrams so that it didn't get hit by any HGMs or anything chasing it down. Cheeky little play there. And something that I'd recommend doing yourself if you're ever in the position where your unit's routing, instead of popping its smoke, you can use the smoke of another vehicle to smoke it, because otherwise it might just be left vulnerable. So my A10's on the way once again. Gold Wire is heading back. He's coming in. 180 gem lands on the mark. Second T-80BV taken out. Hits the T-8M with both of its AIM-9s. And is going to get out alive. Gold Wire, the absolute Chad in his A10, now leads the way for the M1 Abrams to push all the way through. The next phase of the combined arms is underway as the TOW Cobras and AH-1F Cobras swing into position. Unfortunately, there is the Skrezet there. There is the Strelas plenty of infrared AA. So these Cobras are not really going to be having a good time. The Afghanskis, for example, hitting us very hard. But with now the +4 and us well ahead in points. Still 5 minutes left on the game, but we're pushing for the victory. 20 seconds left on the clock. Time to clean up as much as I can. All of these support units on the backside left undefended due to the breakdown of all of the T-80s. A huge push coming through from all of our team. Lovely stuff. That's going to be it for this one. A victory in the end with 10,880 kills to 5,210 losses. Epic 2.09 KD in the 10v10 where we were pushing incredibly hard. Fantastic airstrikes, awesome tank maneuvers, fantastic overall strategic play, assisted by the community. I mean, does it really get any better than that? Chaparral, fantastic amount of kills. This Abrams doing spectacular. We got the A10, the hero A10 of Goldwire. He managed to kill 6 T-80BVs by himself. They are 265 points apiece, and this A10 is 210 points. That is a huge, huge win in the air for me. All of the other Abrams helping out along the way. And the H1F Cobras coming in at the end, scoring a couple of kills, but unfortunately shut down quite a bit by the enemy AA. And there you have it, 54 minutes, 48 seconds. Fantastic game. If you're looking into getting WARNO, I would thoroughly recommend it. It is by far the best Cold War RTS on the market. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.